Let's have a good time, bro.
About me, I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
Hey, y'all, welcome back to another episode of More Than the Title. I'm your host, as usual, Jarrett Thomas, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And you know I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good,
We're
baby?
in the building, man. You know, like we like to say, we like to start off the show one way. We like to say G&T, grateful and thankful. You know what I'm saying? So once again, we're grateful to be here, man. We're grateful to wake up and be able to do what we love another day.
Okay.
And not have to go back to a job where we're like, damn it, Daniel. Daniel. You know what I mean? We get to do something that we love every day. So we're grateful for that. And we're thankful for all the supporters and all the guests like yourself that agree to do the show and give us the opportunities to come and share your stories, man. And that's what we are, man. G&T, grateful and thankful. That's how we do it. You know how we start the show.
You know, shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah.
YouTube subscribers across all platforms, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. We're going. This is our second biggest month on LinkedIn. We're about to be tracking for 80,000 views this month alone, y'all. So it's a big big kudos to y'all, man. We do this for y'all. We do this for the people. And you know, I got a lot of history with this brother. We're gonna have some fun today, you know. We're gonna have some fun. But before we begin, y'all, you already know, shout out to our distribution partners, that Live Podcast Network. First woman-owned, black-owned podcast network in the world, and the largest black-owned podcast network in the world. So if you want more black content or content in general from content creators like More Than a Title, make sure y'all scan the QR code, download it, and make sure y'all support your favorite creators. You did?
We work for a woman. And we like it. And we like it.
With that said,
Let's start the show.
I'm gonna give my brother the intro, man.
Yeah.
First of all, this brother is not just a managing partner at SERHANT. He's a trailblazer in the industry with a distinguished 16-year career, over $1 billion in sales. Known for his innovative use of digital media and technology, this brother's been at the forefront of strategic shifts in real estate and now new development marketing. His expertise extends to implementing progressive operational processes, executing targeted sales campaigns, and getting exposure for developers, landlords, and sellers alike. So prior to this brother's role at SERHANT, he held influential positions at top Manhattan firms and leading technology-driven brokerage. He was instrumental in their rapid growth and success. And now this brother's leadership also included and trained over 500 agents who have now achieved notable success in New York real estate market.
Crazy.
Woo!
Crazy.
Introduce the managing director at SERHANT, our brother Jordan March, y'all. Oh, man, over $1 billion.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Crazy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let's set the table.
Yeah.
Let's set the table, bro. First of all, I've seen you. We've come from the mud together. So for anybody's watching, my first sales job, Ed Intent, Vertical Search Works, we met. That's when I was coming in. Y'all hear the story all the time. I came into the job. I didn't know nothing about corporate, nothing about digital sales, but I had a hunger. And it was brothers like Jordan. They would pull a brother aside, be like, yo, this is what it is. Yo, you got the talent, but just do it like this, my dude.
Right.
And it was like this, and was always looking out and taught me how to play the game. So, and to see where my brother's at right now, being on one of the top shows on Netflix, grinding out the mud, got out the industry and took over a completely different industry. Come on, bro. That's love, man.
He's talking about talent.
Come on, bro. That's love.
Hold on.
Thank you, brother.
I just want to set the stage real quick.
Crazy.
Thank
He
you
said
so
he
much.
met you in sales in a whole technically different industry.
Facts.
And you were like a mentor and, you know, you help provide that guidance and, you know, that leadership and stuff. But you were in that field already. Now, for you to leave that field, that clearly you were doing well. You left that field, right?
He was killing.
Right. So you left that field. It was like, yeah, I'm doing well, but I'm about to do better, and took a chance on yourself and started something completely different. Message.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's nothing sort of phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. That's phenomenal. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like when you're really confident in yourself, then you have the ability to take those type of risks.
Yeah.
You know.
Message.
Yeah. You know, I first in the 15, I'm getting paid, and it's a pretty check, you know, like. So no, it's such a blessing to, you know, have it all work out, right? But even if it's not, you know, you just, I mean, some days it ain't, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And now people see this, but they don't see everything that
Everything.
people have really, you know, had to do to really get into that space.
But let's talk about that,
know?
bro. That's a great segue. From leaving Vertical Search Works, what was the first entry point into real estate, and why you even chose real estate, bro?
So I was actually in real estate for like a couple years prior, but I hit I hit a wall, and I was doing, you know, primarily rentals, a couple sales, but really doing well with the rentals and stuff, and just really wanted to get my sales business off the ground.
Yeah.
But hit a wall where I, you know, was doing a couple really good hot deals, and then was spending more than I was making. I was out, you know, partying, and I was a promoter, you know, partying. You know, yeah. So, but sometimes you're burning capital, taxis, running around, dinners, this, that. You already know the game in New York.
Yeah.
And I just remember at the time I gotten the job through Chris McCarthy.
Oh, shout out to Chris.
Well, I got the interview because that interview I still had to do
Chris, another
like
one. Yeah.
3 to 4 rounds of interviews to get the job at that time. They were actually we were way more stringent than when we raised money and were just trying to hire just because we needed the people at that point.
Makes sense.
We had to really make sure that people were doing well. So I went through like a 4 interview process for that job at the time for like a sales executive. But you know, I just knew when I left the game, I wanted to come back to it because, you know, at that time we were up 7:45, you know, 7:30 we're at the office.
That's a fact.
Already breakfast already out of the way, workout, everything you had to do was before then. So you had to gym at 5 to get home and like, and that was really the grind, you know.
Facts.
But I knew that I wanted to come back to real estate and really focus on the business and, you know, just really figure it out because I hit a brick wall, but I was like, don't count me out yet. And I was still doing deals actually too. Like I had like a lot of good referrals that were coming in. It was a way for me to catch up my bills because at the time I was behind on my rent. And homie's like, yo, just get caught up in your bills and come, you know, you can always quit. And Ian Neufeld came to me, honestly, like a month in, 6 weeks in, he goes, I'm going to promote you. He goes, don't tell nobody. He says, I got to wait a quarter so that I don't get resentment on the floor.
Makes sense.
And that's the first time I've even ever said that, right?
That's
you know what I mean? Like
Exclusive.
message.
You know, and I said, all right, bet. I ain't going to say nothing. But then, you know, because after the first month, they had like a hard hat challenge. So like the first or second month, I had gotten the hard hat, or the first month came in like second.
Yeah.
And I was going through the worst period of my life. I just told you I didn't have rent.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was going through some other personal stuff, some breakups, bad tenant, bunch of shit was going on.
It's real, bro.
And, you know, like it was probably still to this day, probably the worst period of my life when I had gotten that job. You know what I mean?
Well, bro, I wouldn't know that shit. You never know.
At first,
Hell
you know, like this is right before, you know, before you were, you know, like your wave of highs came in, and that job was still like an outlet for me to kind of grow my, you know, my career in that way and really learn the business of media, digital media. And it's a very powerful tool and skill to have now that I look back. So when I got back in the industry, I was only working with people who had the same mindset.
Yeah.
You know, how are aggregated sites? How's digital media affecting industry?
Yeah.
Are we using the internet, whether it's, you know, through social media? Yeah. You know, we'll get into it, but like
taking to school.
You know, like, so it was a decision you had to make. It was a risk because I went back to all commission. Right.
All commission?
Yeah. And then the managers were doing real well. Like we were really eating there. You know what I mean? Like and you remember at one point I was managing 2 teams.
That's a fact.
I had food. They took me over food, but then they gave me woman entertainment vertical.
Entertainment.
And then I had
Can you do home and garden or something?
The home and garden, but what was the other one? Family.
Yes, because you had the Nick Jr. and all that. The
Nick Jr., Nickelodeon. You know, so we were managing, you know, just 2 teams at once. 2, you know, still at the time too, they were really pushing the upsells.
Yeah.
The ad ops teams had to build up more A/B tests. So we'll get into that, but like there was a lot of little iterations before I said, you know what, I got to get back to the game. It's going to be a big risk, you know, but ultimately here we are.
But it really was. I'm gonna keep it to give people context that's listening at home. Y'all. We was at a boiler room environment, meaning if you didn't hit your number by Friday, by Monday your desk was gone.
Right.
That's what happened with my wave of hires. So I came in a little later. Bro was already a manager and stuff like that. But how it prepared you, bro, you had to fight for your job every week. every week until you get comfortable. Until they, all right, you've been hitting your number consistently
Yeah.
for 6 months. You could breathe a little bit. And
Yeah,
even
yeah.
then, it wasn't even like that, bro. So like the way it prepared, we was hitting the phone 100 dials a day, 100 dials,
Yeah.
which translates to what you're doing now, because this is competitive as hell. So how do you differentiate yourself in a big ass market like this, bro? 'Cause you said you hit the rough patch. Like, can you explain what the rough patch was when you came into real estate?
You know, it's just real estate you have to be talented at so many things. You have to know the market better,
Okay.
which is both yourself and the listing, right? And with yourself, what does that mean? It means I also have a very niche target market that I've dialed into, right? It's not just being popular, it's being popular in the right circles.
Oh.
People are worried about their follower count, not worried about who the follower is.
Message.
Feel me? You know, like
When he right.
Yeah.
so
That was strong right there. Yeah.
but that's, you know, like I had to really figure out, how am I going to meet the wealthiest people in the city and really build credibility with this audience. That was what I was missing out on. You could always put up some ads, do some rentals, run around, and I was like, I don't want to do the rentals no more. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with rentals. Like, trust me, I'll pop up and do a rental right now all day still. Buy a pair of boots or whatever, and I ain't got to think about it. You know what I mean? But like, it's an industry where if you don't really figure out how to get up the echelons of social networking, whether it's very quiet or at scale through marketing and media, you'll never make it. I have people who do the same thing for 20 years, you know, not really progressing. And I'm not saying every year's a blowout. I mean, it's been very successful for my last, you know, really since I left, the last 12 years have been like.
I mean, that's a hell of a run. I don't want to interrupt. Hold on, time. You know, I let the guests go, but he modestly was like, you know, not consistent, but you know, since I left 12 years, I'm pretty fucking consistent.
Yeah,
you know,
that's real.
Anybody will take a 12-year run. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, I gotta
You
pinch
know.
myself sometimes because you're like, you just sit,
Yeah.
you know, like even just praying the other day about, you know, still financial stuff because I gotta invest, I gotta move around. You got fresh outfits,
Of course.
show you want to, you know, and like you got teams that supporting marketing. I got listings all over. I got 2 kids in Manhattan. You know, so your burn rate can be high, you know, and you're investing in also luxury where deals could take a year to really close, right? Like, so
I mean, we're not talking. So let me explain something to our audience, and I have to do this because sometimes, you know, we talk because we understand the vernacular and they might not understand, right? So luxury to us, right? Luxury to us would be something that's right above where the modest person lives or how they live and rent standard and things of that nature. That's luxury. But when he says it takes a year to close, that's above luxury. You understand? This is like the elite. This is like the, you know, this
like the 15 and up.
Right. Yeah. This property comes on the market once every 20 years. Or, you know what I mean?
Even the wrong product.
Right. Yeah. You know,
there's just a hard unit to sell.
Right.
It's worth what it's in a tough co-op.
Right.
The building's going through a lot of changes.
Yeah.
The common charges may be up.
Right.
You know, or the neighborhood's not as hot as it used to be. People are kind of moving to their pocket.
Yeah. People think luxury and be like, why would it take a year to close that? No, let me explain it to you. Yeah.
Particular taste.
Right. Absolutely.
You want what
you want. You have
like
a very select few showings that you have to just dial in.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not 100 showings, right? It's like every person that comes in, you got to know like all the nuances of how they live, how they communicate, what their current life is like to even make that transition feel easy.
Right.
There's like so many factors of, all right, you're from China, you're from Japan, you're from Brazil, you're from Israel, right? Like everybody's relating to a different standard of life, different ways that they negotiate and make decisions, and they also want different things, right? Like some people are gonna bring their feng shui master, and it's up to him. Yeah. And you like, I hope this bedroom's in the, and he's like, the north winds are going in the right direction. I like this place for her.
What's wrong with this guy? Am I getting me or what?
The north winds.
The north winds
for that commission,
right? But like, if you want to sell real estate, they're a huge part of our market.
Absolutely.
Brokers don't even take the time to educate themselves on that, you know, how people live. This is your house, right? Like, What I want has nothing to do with what my client wants. I needed to figure out how my clients really live. Right?
Shit.
Yeah.
I can get to the message.
Yeah, it's due diligence. I think is a skill that's important in any job,
Right.
Any career, and the ones that take the time to truly dial in normally do better in any field, right? If you're doing sales and you're making 100 calls, but again, you don't know the guy you're calling,
Exactly.
then what does it mean?
Right.
You gotta on the fly.
Right.
You gotta connect instantly.
Right. But if he calls somebody and he has a good idea because he's done some homework or he does research on a normal basis, he connects with somebody. Now he could just you could start a conversation where the person could go, oh, you actually know me. Or it looks like you've taken the time to try to get to know me, which goes a long way.
Sure.
No fact.
You know what I'm saying?
But
A cold call is a cold call.
That's why I said
how
that
you warm it
prepares
up,
you.
yeah.
Because we have to, when you're doing a cold call, especially when we was at, you had 10 seconds to make a connection.
Right.
It's what you say, whatever. My thing was that when we used to have the same thing. It was like, yo, I want to be memorable. I might not even try to sell the deal right now, but what can I do that's gonna make you different? I don't care if you laugh, I don't care if you curse me out. I gotta evoke some sort of emotion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how I get the sale. So for like you, bro, doing your due diligence, I would love to hear a story, bro. Walk us through one of your toughest sales where you didn't know you was gonna get the sale. You had to wow them, you had to take them out of some shit. Like what was one of your toughest?
I mean, honestly, these deals are all pretty hard. I ain't gonna hold you. Like these deals there's so many intricate layers of like just all the dynamics between the attorney, the broker, the architect, the banker, the this, the that, the wife, the husband. You're managing everything. The other broker, they could be new on the other side, right? And I still got to make sure we're all closing. So I may have to coach you up on how to close your client too. And that started off adversarial became more like, yo, we got to collab if we really gonna get this bag. You know what I mean? So like you have to, I think, look at it a few different ways. Like it's not, I mean, there's just when you talk to somebody until they move, then you got to get the pictures up. Then they got to move their stuff into storage. Then we got to paint. Then we got to get the stager in. Then we got to put it in the market. Then it got to sit in the market. Then the person comes. Then it's the first offer, the second offer. Then we have our negotiation stage, which could take a month, right? On a big listing, not sometimes even more. They come back, see they're checking the pulse of the seller, and you're just following the deal, and you can't close too hard too soon if you're really standing on this is the deal.
Exactly.
And this is why you should be moving forward. So it's super like just nuanced in the communication. And, then you have the contract due diligence process, doing the inspection, going through the attorney, checking the financials of the building, checking the minutes. And then you sign the contract. Then you got to deal with the bank, doing the diligence over again to even get the approval that this is a building to loan against and your client's, financially stable enough to handle the mortgage and all the other expenses.
That's great.
Then we got to schedule the closing unless you buy a co-op. Because if you buy a co-op, then you got to wait for the interview. And then, so even
I think we'll talk about that. I think that's one of the biggest wastes of money that you can have is buying a co-op because you never truly own it.
You never, I mean,
a lot of buildings don't even own the building that you're co-opting from.
Well,
it's like,
it's
crazy.
Well, you get shares in a corporation that own the building as an asset or a mortgage. You get referring to more like the land leases where you're leasing a piece of land for 20, 30 years and they could do, technically do whatever, but, everyone's in the best interest to try to, keep the land at the same cost so that everybody's, common charges and so on don't vastly increase. But a lot of banks, they used to really be more skittish to those type of properties, so every deal is very intricate. Every deal requires its own unique set of problems. I mean, let's think about my most recent problem. Let me even think. I mean, there's just so many things, floods in apartments that just happened last minute. I mean, clients that just wake up and want the apartment, out of nowhere, like a year later, and they're spending that money that you always, want them to spend. Ryan talk about his $130 million deal. Oh, wake up, I'll buy it now. And it was in contract in 2 days.
So that
You
was
followed
gonna,
it for
so
a
I was
year.
gonna bring that up. You know, no, I'm saying like I was gonna bring that up. I just was gonna wait later on down the line as far as like I know there's a lot of adversity to it, right? Because I'm a homeowner myself. I've been through the process. I've been in construction 22 years, so I actually build like 57 Park. We build that like my union. We build those buildings. 731 Lex, the Bloomberg, but we build a lot of these buildings. So I'm hands on with all the materials, building and supervising it. So I know what goes
Right,
into making.
right.
I've seen this from every angle, but I've seen a lot of times where you get a buyer like when they're ready to go, it's almost nothing that's gonna stop them. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah,
Like I'll give you a funny example. I was gonna buy my first house in Jersey, Cracker Barrel factory out in Trenton. They renovated the whole factory, turned it into what do you call it?
What's that?
Warehouse?
Condos, right? Open floor plan. I loved it. Right across, like 2 blocks from the stadium. So I'm like,
Oh,
this is gonna be a gold mine.
Right.
Yeah.
And we argued over $10,000 in the closing. So I had the biggest unit. They wanted like, and it wasn't even a lot of money. For me,
Sure.
I'm looking at it was like
I seen
280.
Let me tell you, in
Yeah.
rentals, they care less about money. In sales, we'll let the deal die with $500.
I'm telling you.
They would let it
So this is what I'm telling you. So I'm like, listen, meet me halfway on the closing. I think it was like 20 grand. Meet me halfway because you don't have this and you're not providing that. So just meet me halfway on the closing. They wanted like 280. I was like, and we can do it and we can close like in
right now.
You understand?
Right,
Like I'll give you a
right.
$20,000 check. We close right now. And they argued me and they hassled me. And I left. And found a townhouse, a builder, and built the house and I ended up paying $325. So I ended up paying $50,000 more, but I got almost double the space more. So the condo was only $1,800. This was I'm at almost $3,000. So you know what I'm saying? For $50,000 more. But come to find out, I watched that property. So all the units sold, but that corner property. It ended up dropping like $40,000 before they sold it. It ended up dropping like they were so desperate. So you didn't want to budge on me for 10 and you lost 40 for it. So I know, like, so you say, like, but we killed deals for 500. I'm just saying, like, what's the line where you're like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I just came out my pocket.
Yeah, like
That's crazy. No,
like how do you kill? Like, what's your limit to where sometimes, and again, like for me being on all sides, sometimes I'll be like, you know what we're gonna make from this? You would let this die for this? I'll pay that out of my pocket. Like, have you ever been in a situation like that?
So many times. I mean, you take care of staging fees, attorney fees, small things. Oh, the sink is broken. Da 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 da. All right, we'll pay for the sink. We'll get you a new sink. Well, let's figure it out. I mean, you have to get a sense of like where the deal is worth dying over. That's what I always tell people negotiating is like, I always have a sense in mind where's like my bottom before I even get into it.
Okay.
Right. So that, and or I have a sense of where do I want to arrive in this negotiation? Because a lot of people go, what's your budget? Or, you see a price that's kind of marked up. Are you looking at it where everything that you do, you're knocking it down 50% and trying to see where the negotiability is around there? Right. Like it could be, I mean, we're more in a fair society where people, 10%, people like this kind of margins, but you'll find that, other people that we see as aggressive, it's just the spread of what they're negotiating within. And you got to be able to kind of read that and say, okay, that's not really where they want to, that's not their bottom price, but that's where they're opening offer maybe. And I have to be able to gauge that, so I'm not going off. A lot of sellers will go, I'm not going to do a counter offer. I don't think they're a real buyer, but you have to still read how the buyer is negotiating and what they think their strategy is, if I'm representing a seller, so to speak.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So I think you have to have your end game in mind at the end of the day, and really think of where would I walk away where I wouldn't look twice, where I'm confident in the market. It's okay. I'm done on the deal.
Yeah.
And then I always just keep that in mind. And then you can just dance in between that, and I think you look at time and the other constraints. And
that's what I'm saying. Like if you was in a deal, the time that it takes you, let's say one of these
sometimes
big
it'd be
deals,
petty. Sometimes it'd be petty.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, like you said, like, let's say I'm invested in a deal.
Okay.
Like you said, we've been at this, let's call it 8 months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All the time and the energy and everything that you've put into getting the deal to that point in the 8 months. And now it's like people are arguing over something petty, and you're like, bro, you know how much we already spent just getting us here?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be my mindset a lot. I would just be like, bro, first of all, how much is that? Okay, we spent this already to get here. So if we don't close this now, this is a total loss.
Sure.
You understand?
Well, what kind of wiggle room? And we also have actually, let's get to
You got some questions?
Yeah, got some questions.
Okay.
What's the most expensive listing you've ever sold?
I mean, 22 million.
You said I answered it easy.
He's very modest. He's very modest.
Message.
He's very modest.
Should have been 23.
22.
I gave him a 10%.
Might have been 22.5. You know, give or take.
Yeah, I don't even like.
Right. Okay.
They're all really important deals. I'll be honest with you. Like, I enjoy doing sometimes just throwing up some 2s and 3s. We have the big deals we work on. I mean, I think it's the ability to transact at all segments of the market. You know, and like have that steadiness. But right now, I mean, if you watch the show, we are selling the tallest penthouse in the world right now, Central Park Tower, which is $200 million.
So when we did AOL Towers, and we did the building, and then they start listing it. So they give us discounts, right? It's like a joke, but some people actually go for it. So because we build the building, if we want to buy a unit within the building, we get a certain amount of like a discount.
Yeah.
Okay.
But are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not being funny, but like, you know what I mean? So many buildings, I forgot one building we put up. I think Usher bought an apartment when he was doing Broadway.
Probably.
And they're like, yeah, you can, buy in right now for a measly like $750. Like, oh, just $750 with 30% down.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna clean me out.
Yeah.
Now, but I understand why they do that, because at the end of the day, that same unit's gonna go for $3-4 million later. And what ended up happening was all those units that we didn't buy, a company bought, because a lot of times companies will come in and buy the units and save the units for when they fly their guests in and they fly business partners in. They don't have to do a hotel. They always have units for them to stay in, conferences and stuff. So a lot of times they'll buy them and furnish them and say, hey, let it sit. Yeah, no, that companies do that. Big corporate.
Corporate.
Yeah, but I just, it astonishes me. I'm not being funny, because like I'm building this thing, right? So I'm building it and I'm just looking at the space and I'm like, how much are we going to charge for this?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And then that's like, before you beat the skyline, because the same exact apartment on 10 is not the same price as the one on 20, the one on 40.
Exactly.
Because once you clear that skyline off, and I'm like, it's the same apartment. Yeah, it's crazy. So I, for me, I just sometimes I just say, I ain't gonna lie, I sit back and I laugh, because it's insane to me.
Yeah.
Some of these numbers that I'm like, you're paying how much?
No, I know.
To live here? I'm like, Jesus, like how important. I love Manhattan, but shit, it ain't that important. I mean,
how do you get to the point? I want to know about how long you been with Ryan? How long you been with the company?
Yeah, I've been with Ryan for 4 years, and the company same amount of time.
So 4 years.
About 4 years now.
So what's been the transformation since you've been here? And like the world, because lead us into the Netflix, because you come here, like you told me about Ryan 2 years ago. You was like, yo, this is the biggest thing.
He's just a beast, man. This guy's a legend, man. Like, his work ethic is incredible. He just has a vision. He's always seen the future. He doesn't think about failure, and we all deal with it. That's the problem. Is like he knows how to like just bounce back, ignore things, move on. And I mean, just being here, it's just the glow up. Like, I mean, I'm around the world with top 10 in 40 countries. That's the evolution. So everything that I'm doing is now magnified for people to think about and critique or perplex on and whatever. It's just like they get to, it's really exposed to the world now on that level through, the best television brand in the world right now too.
Stream, absolutely.
190 countries.
That's come on. Definitely.
Top 10.
You gotta talk your talk.
So that
you gotta talk your talk.
That's what's going on. Like
that's what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, before this interview is over, we're gonna get them to put a little bass on it, a little stank on it.
You gotta put the funk on it.
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show them.
Well, it's like I always felt like my swag always just did it for me.
Okay. Yeah.
If anything, I even had a teacher say, quiet your aura. a little bit today. And sometimes you gotta pop out and show them,
Yeah.
you know, but like sometimes who you are is better than what you say. And I think even when people, because you can get the first impression, but a lot of people don't talk about the second impression. That's probably the title of my second book, actually.
Okay.
I got a book in the can.
Oh, here you go. Another
The second
exclusive.
impression.
Yeah.
It was here about the first impression.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, you know, they walk in, they have a good talk, but what about now the follow-up game?
Yeah.
What about the deeper ethics? What about really who are you as a person, right? Because like I still feel like I'm literally at the tip of the iceberg with $1 billion, and it's actually close to 2, right? Like I honestly I don't even take credit for all my deals. I don't even.
He's going crazy. I love it.
He's going crazy.
I'm not lying. I mean, with LG Fairmont alone, we did $1.5 billion in sales when I was with them for 4 years.
Gotcha.
That's not counting everything I've done in SERHANT the last 4 years.
Yeah.
$120 million just last year alone.
Right.
Woo. We ranked 15th in the city, 24th in the state. You know, so it's been. I'm like, okay.
I mean, but that's a testament also, you know, thinking about you, if you say something like we did 120 million and still ranked 15th, that should tell you how many units and how many people are selling, and but that should just show you the strength of the market.
Sure.
If you ranked 15th and you did 120 and you like, yeah, we did 120 lightly and we rested.
If you're not first, you're last. So
Message.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Hold on, time out. Like I'm content every side of the way. My work is not who I am, right?
Right.
We work hard for our agents. It's about delivering service for our people. You know, like it's really about the impact work in the community that we're building.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's still a number that's associated with the credibility. There's an A+, there's a B+. There's a way to rank things in life, and whether Golos I'm happy or not, or how I feel about it, has nothing to do with this ranking over here.
Gotcha.
Which, you know, so, you know, I'm of the Joe Jackson mentality. Now, first, now, you know,
Well, what we like to do on this show, and we feel like it's mandatory. It's not even optional. We have to show success in general. We spoke about it at length yesterday on the podcast when we did the podcast. Our community, we don't get to see success too often beyond. You understand what I'm saying? So 15th, again, like people in the hood, oh, you came in 15th at 120 million, homie. Like, you understand what I'm saying?
The top team is doing say like, you know, over $1 billion.
That's what I'm saying. So again, like, what it shows is I think it's so important for us as a culture to understand that. And we talked about it yesterday at length. What does success truly look like? Yes, no, you're not number one, but you are still very successful at what you're doing. Because even though you came in 15, how many numbers are past 15?
Right.
Like you understand, like you understand, like so I feel like sometimes people look at the glass only half empty and not half full.
Put
Right?
in perspective of the country,
Yeah.
I'm 118th in the whole nation.
Right.
Of all teams.
Right.
So it's like, you know, New York is a big market. So I'm not taking away from that.
Of course.
And I think as people of color, like.
But in context, how many teams are in New York alone? See, so you can rank one. You say I can rank 118th in the nation. Yeah. But how many teams are in New York alone? That's a fact. You see what I'm saying? There could possibly be over 118 teams just in New York.
Oh, I mean, there's thousands.
I know so many agents.
Right.
And
I mean, we have.
You see?
I mean, there's. You know, there's tens of thousands of agents, you know.
Right. So when we talk about like success, we have to put it in content for them to understand sometimes, like, I ranked, you know, this 118, but there's 10,000 teams just in New York. So understand that I'm in the nation 118. I beat out over 10,000. Right. Out of New York, I might be ranked number 5. You understand? This is out the nation, right? So, but it shows people that, because this is a hard game. Right, like I said, I've done it from every angle. I went to New York REI to do my broker's license and all that. I did all of that, bro. I'm tired. I've been living this game for a long time, and I know people that have started and quit, right? Because of those drought days.
The churn is so crazy in real estate.
It's just there's a burnout factor.
The listings.
Most people who started with me are not in the business.
Right, you understand?
You know, I'm probably I mean, even the show aside, my mentor's like biggest success still, you know.
Yeah.
And I hope I can even give them that, you know, like, you know,
Right.
What does that mean? That's a lot.
Right.
where
That's what I'm saying.
Where everything they said had impact, you know, like as a professional.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to anybody who's ever given me a shot and thought of me in a high way. I mean, I remember my first interview in real estate. I showed up in a hoodie and a hat because I had somebody who prospected me at the open house at NYREI.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't even do my hair. I ain't gonna shape up.
Right.
This hat is staying on right now.
Damn. That's what I'm telling you, right? And like I said, I know people, and I've seen people change markets. Like I know people that went to Philly, and they change markets to think that I'm gonna come with the New York energy.
Yeah,
New
less
York
competitive.
swag.
I'm gonna run circles around these
Of course.
Southerners.
You understand? Right. I go someplace that's a little slower than how we move, and and I've seen people do that, and it's still a very, very tough game to be in, especially when you are trying to find your footings, right?
Sure.
Trying to get the listings, trying to get with the right companies that's gonna allow you, access to the system, the ALS system, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And to really just get your footing, to get the wheels turning.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We used to go to mixer after mixer. You know how many real estate mixers we used to go to so many mixers.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
But how does that work though, bro?
Yeah.
Like when you're if you're in a SERHANT, how does the lead generation flow work here? Do you create your own opportunities? What does that look like?
I mean, you got to create your own out here.
So you got like all these listings, and you're like, no, I'm gonna prospect. I'm gonna find buyers for these potential
there's
units. That's it.
I mean, even the data segmented.
Right.
Like I use like been verified to find contact. You know what I mean? Like I use my people search to find names.
Yeah.
There's no database and I'm getting numbers and calling people on the phone and easy peasy. And I have my own dialers, my own systems, my own automations, my own everything. You know what I mean? And then the company supplies it, but I had to build it years before the company.
Right.
So even when I transition companies, I didn't have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
With my contact list, the way that my messaging was built out, all my other content was on my assets, sometimes in your clouds and all these things. So I had to build up my own systems. And then here at SERHANT, we have state-of-the-art systems as well, but we were also a new company growing, right? So we're always adding a lot of bells and whistles to our foundational sort of core things that people needed, which was still top notch. But there's always a 2.0 and 3.0 and all those type of things. Yeah.
Matter of fact, while we pull up, we got to pull up.
We got to freshen up our refreshments.
We got to pay some bills. We'll be right back.
When we do that, y'all could buy some merch.
Right. It's a break.
You can buy a hat.
He's just doing a little quick doing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But remember, you can buy how to build relationships and revenue. We're going to talk to Jordan. We might have a real estate course on there that we might rev share, and we're going to have that available to y'all possibly. I don't know, but there would definitely be no discounts. Get your merch going, and let's get it popping. Everybody got their drinks?
Yo, we ready. We ready.
Back to the show. We back to the show. So you got to do all that. So you got your own automation. You got your own like SDR team. You got your own all that stuff. You creating your own pipeline. And what is the quota look like?
I mean, like here they want the junior agents to be bringing in $15 million a year.
Junior reps got to bring in 15.
Yeah, me as a team, a team should be bringing in above $60 million a year. You know what I mean? Like,
but wait, is that inclusive of rentals and sales and everything?
It's like,
is that inclusive?
You got to throw a couple $1 million on the board. That's the goal, right?
Okay.
Like, and that's tough still. Like that's a lot of deals, like that's a lot of pushing, and as I said, the agents sometimes don't make it through, like, but here they have a certain caliber of agents that they want to hire from like a minimum production.
Gotcha.
And I think they'll still make choices case by case based on previous history, like and other factors. If you join a team, then somebody can kind of account for your production, right? And you're part of the team structure. But it's not easy,
Yeah, but how has shit changed now with the Netflix show? Now, is it easier to get the lead flow? Is it easier for you to set up those appointments? You're like, I'm joining.
It's like when I would have to knock 3 times, I'd knock once.
Yeah.
He
said his swag was crazy. So sometimes they might just see him walking up to the door, like, oh, now we know that's Jordan. Go ahead and open up that door. Right. We know what it is.
That's a fact.
Big
moves on a lot of comments. Big moves. moves. Yeah, so you only got to knock one stand.
Yeah.
How personally though, even professionally, how personally has it changed?
I
You got
mean,
kids, your kids watching the show. Why
Whoa,
you
Your-
my
your
kids
kids
were
are
in a
young?
live chat the other day, and somebody spotted his name and says, "Is your dad on in Manhattan?" Like just a random live
Right.
stream, like
Right.
just jumping in with a bunch of kids, like watching whatever
Yeah, like a
gamer.
Roblox
How old
and
is
shit.
he?
Yeah, he's like 10 years old.
Okay, 10.
Mhm.
You know, so there's that. I mean, every day here, it's pretty much like I mean, I get stopped every day right now. You know, like it's not, you know, like we had a line out down the street for like a meet and greet. It's all new to me, man. Like
Yeah,
it's,
that's crazy.
you know, just to see it all.
Shout out to the young lady, the receptionist. She was like, "Yo, no, just open the door for Jordan, but don't let nobody else." A lot of
Right,
people.
but-
I was like, "Yo,
He's
what?
like, fans might not.
Yeah, I'm like,
Right.
"That happens?" Yo,
Right.
that's crazy. They
She's like,
pull up.
just don't let them in.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure, even our fans, I'm pretty sure there's
Yeah.
people that just want an opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? That's
I mean,
like,
mostly everybody's, you know, respectful, and they're walking in Soho and they say, "What's," you know, because again, this corner was shown on TV all around the world,
Right.
You know, millions of times. So people are just trying to see what's going on, and then they see, oh, there's, you know, people inside and so on, and they'll spot you. But I was in LA, I was getting past, you know what I mean? Oh, people came up to me. I just came back from LA. You know, that was like, no, you know, another set, another city altogether.
Right.
yeah.
You know, so, and just like, you know, getting messages from all over the world, really, you know, like messages you can't even read in English. You're just like, okay.
Be like, I buy it packages.
Siri, translate. I got 250. Need a penthouse. Okay, I'm ready.
Or like not even,
And that-
not even, but not even like, even, you know, our native fonts. You know?
Oh, right. Oh,
Like,
yeah. Yeah.
So you're
Right.
hearing from people and like, maybe this is a real buyer or something. Let me,
Right.
actually,
Absolutely.
you know, translate it. So it's been crazy.
You know, we ask all our guests, so you know, I gotta ask you now as a segue, bro. What's your mama made it moment? Since you've been here in SERHANT, has there been a moment that you like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm here?
I mean, I think it's just since I got hired here, honestly, it's been every day's been kind of hype. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, Ryan creates like a really cool energy so that you feel like you're like, you know, you're living with somebody who's actually doing it, right? Because he's the CEO, but he's still like has the hustle of a broker, right?
Of course.
Like,
you never
Like,
never
he
lose
loved
it.
He's
he's a
hands-on.
deal junkie, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's hands-on.
So he's
Yeah.
like, you know, he just really does it for the love of the craft as well, you know, and the love of the sale. And with that, like, you really want to feel like I gotta step up even more, you know. And again,
Yeah.
I was somebody who, out of the entire office, I probably still have the most amount of volume just because of the operation that I was a part of, you know, doing $1.5 billion. So
Every time you say that shit, it's just like,
right? Yeah.
Give a nigga goosebumps.
say, right? You give a nigga goosebumps. Yeah.
You gotta listen to him. You learn something.
Just $1 million. This is 1.5 billion.
But
Yeah.
I would say, you know, just like maybe the night that we had the big launch party, that was really special. I actually put them on my head. If you go on my gram, you'll see.
Yeah.
And then just like kind of looking back at that the next day, I'm like, this is really happening. And then when it goes live, it's just happening like in real time. People following, people talking. Like, it's just now it's just you're in the noise, you know.
Yeah.
But it's
Fire.
been great. I mean, our partners who've been on the show, they've been on Good Morning America. Trisha Lee was on, our partner Jeff Saint, we're on The Breakfast Club. So we've been getting respect in all verticals,
Yeah,
everywhere. People have
absolutely.
been taking notice of it.
And also more than a title, you heard?
Yeah.
you know, get on more than a title. Ryan,
I
you
wanted-
get on the seat.
I wanted to it's very important because I've
Yeah.
been around real estate in almost every aspect of it. It's very important for the viewers to understand this is one of the premier real estate agencies, right?
Absolutely.
But one of the problems that we have is we speak about education, right? For people that don't have the experience or the education, like, how do you get into this industry?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Super
value?
important.
What are you valuing more at this point? If I went to school and got a 4-year degree in real estate or construction or blah blah blah, would you value me more? Or if I was a guy that came to you and said, "Listen, I don't have a degree, but I'm hungry, I'm ready to work." Like, how do you handle that type of, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that
think it
don't
comes-
want to go to school and get that education.
Right.
They're the way their brain works is different.
gotta
You know
show
what I
me.
mean? Yeah,
gotta
they're
show me.
more like
Yeah.
hands-on. You know, how do you work with that?
I mean, look, I'm a high school dropout. I still got into college after because I went to a music school and got a 4.0 doing beats.
Mm.
But I was into St. John's. They wasn't taking me any other way.
See?
Don't get me wrong. I came from, Caribbean parents. They drilling you. So you already have like they're talking politics, history. So you have a fundamental study of the world. I mean, I would definitely suggest people to get the degree, like just to get that 2.0 of like business. You can learn it on your own, but a lot of times people don't have the hustle to learn it on their own.
That's a fact.
So
that's a fact.
I learned on my own, but I pay for courses. I don't stop learning, right? Like I invest in my learning every year. I spent honestly probably over $50,000 in courses last year and mentors.
Right.
Just to kind of give, you know what I mean?
Spend 40, 50. After,
right.
You heard that after 1.5 billion in sales, still spend 40, 50 just to stay sharp.
Right. And because I'm in other industries now too.
Right.
That was, I'm going on my 17th year. At some point, this is great, but this is my last 5-6 years doing it the way I'm doing it. Right.
Gotcha.
Like I have development deals going on where once they're live, I'm good. This is just gonna be fun. I'm gonna have my business running. Don't get me wrong,
right? Yeah.
But like, people are not gonna get to like walk around and do showings and all that stuff with me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, because there are other plays, and I want to, I have a life. I want to do other things.
You got an exit strategy,
right? Yeah. But like, I think it's important for the person to show very strong communication skills. Number one, I think too many people don't know how to put together formal business letters. Now we have AI, so nobody has an excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse. But even being able to communicate well, that was my thing. Is doesn't necessarily gift the gab, but it's everybody has. You know how to switch it up. If I'm in the hood and I come like, hey, I can't move in that circle either. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? So it's different strokes for wherever you at. You got to know how to switch it up. If you in certain communities, you got to know. And if you're in another country, you got to know the language.
Gotta be a chameleon.
So you got to be a chameleon with it. And that was really where I knew I was just doing really well. And then now it's how relatable am I? Do people trust me? Do people feel like I have their best interests at heart? I'm still like to this day, all I have is a GED. I don't have no, you know what I mean? And that music certificate, which is what am I gonna do with that? Go be an engineer?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Right? But hold on, you heard what he just said. Formal education wise, he has a GED.
And I have credits, don't get me wrong. Right, I got credits on the board.
But it's important to show the people that, because we talk about this all the time. You can still go to school, study something for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, come out and get a job doing something completely different.
Right.
That's 80-90% of the people that go get their degrees. You study one thing and end up doing something else for the rest of your life where that degree didn't even, it got you in the door to just to say, okay, I have a degree, but it has nothing to do with what you're doing now.
Exactly.
So that's why
people have had different. Also, people have had different prerequisite jobs. Because at the end of the day, you having a job in that industry or something that shows your track record of success, rather than being say fresh out of high school, you know what I mean, is a little bit different as well. Okay, have you shown competency in other areas where I can overlook not having a degree and you still being able to like stand on your own and say, okay, good. This this experience, they showed that they had prowess over it. They were really good at it. Okay. Now there's more to the narrative, but I think you have to build your narrative, or you have to come in and just be humble, start somewhere, work your way up.
So that's what I was going to lead into. Do you guys have internship programs and special programs where
anybody
you
can always intern? Internships a little, because now interns get paid.
They get paid, right? It's a stipend.
An hour. And $50 an hour in a lot of states, even if
that's a regular,
it's a living wage, right? Which is what we needed, right? But it does change the economics of how internship, to me, the definition of internship.
Okay.
Because now I could pay somebody $20 an hour and get somebody who actually probably has some prerequisite job history for 20-25% more. I could probably get triple the effectiveness because I'm not training you on the job. You see? Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Because it's also a job for me to train somebody.
Right.
While they're getting paid, is like they're not really even adding value yet. That's why sometimes they're like, just get the coffee. Just get and that used to be the grunt work that I did at one point, when I was starting off at the record label and all these things. It was dropping packages off and, still being in the mix and adding value where you can, where you were just sitting over somebody's shoulder and being an apprentice. Now the apprentice get paid for doing nothing. So it's a different world. Yeah. So I could take on interns, but I think that person still would have to show like even more hustle than somebody who's already got it and is already adding me value. Because that's really what it comes down to is, can you go above and beyond your job and really, or am I just gonna doing what I don't, what again, I predict I don't want to be into, excuse me.
Nah, I ain't gonna front. We gonna chop it later, bro. But when we get to where we want, have you ever thought about doing courses and things like that, right? Because like you said, why this is important for us, bro. I know so many of my homegirls, homeboys that want to be in real estate. They've changed. They've been a police officer, and they're like, no, it's a bag of this shit. They don't understand what it takes, bro. So
Right.
are you willing to do the webinars, seminars, things like that, where you could just be like, yo, for our community, this is what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a variety of things. I work with Ryan and the Sell It course. So for anybody right now who wants to take control of their, you know what I mean, their destiny in this business, go through the Sell It course and do everything he says for 6 months. You'll make money. Most people won't want to do the work. They listen to it like it's a podcast. He's already rich. He made the course.
But you know what it is? It's the scam factor.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with
real. You know,
if you scroll Facebook, Instagram, no matter what your algorithm is, 99% of the time you're gonna see a bunch of people now offering masterclass after masterclass after.
Yeah, you want leads, you want this,
right? You want this, and I'll show you how to do this. And a lot of it is scams. I'm gonna be real with you, right? We already don't have but so much. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of the times, and this was a big issue, and they had brought it up when Donald Trump had ran last time for presidency, when he had, you remember the Trump School of Real Estate or something? Remember we had the Trump School? You know how many people they had testify like, yo, I gave you my life savings.
Right.
I gave you my life savings. Trump University, I think it was called, right? Trump University. Like, I gave you my life savings to learn from you, to believe that you're a billionaire.
Right.
Why would you want to steal from little old Sally Mae? And it ended up being a scam.
Right.
So people, that's the mentality that they have, where I promise you, people want to be successful. I promise you, bro. People are dying to be successful. Yes, some people will do more work than others. But the problem is the trust factor. It's can I trust you? Can I trust you, right? Yeah, I know you're successful, but are you truly giving me source?
Right.
And I'm not going to see your success overnight, but you know what I mean?
And people just need to be using Google and YouTube these days. I mean, there's so much that's free information that's out there.
Yeah. Message.
You know, you have Udemy, you have Coursera. I sign up for everything.
Yeah.
I may not get through it all. I may watch 30 minutes, but I'll still be 30 minutes in that type of, and listen, you can still learn a lot in a few hours in a weekend binging, courses and so on. So I encourage people to look at the education market as still, where's my, value best placed?
Yeah.
Sometimes it may not be in the traditional universities. Sometimes it may not be in these courses, but you have to get this knowledge.
Yeah.
If you're very well studied, go walk into a library like we used to do, grab your ass almanac and a dictionary or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, because that's what it was to learn the world. Like, we didn't have Google growing up and Siri growing up. Right, you had that one almanac in your house, and you had that one Mayo Clinic book in your house.
What was it? I said Encyclopedia Britannica. If you had a Britannica set, yo, you was the man.
Encyclopedia, excuse me. Right? The almanac. So like, that's and we were reading the dictionary, and hopefully you were able to absorb information. So information is not unaccessible. These days, you could take somebody out to lunch and learn an industry in an hour. Right, the nuts and bolts, everything you fail at. Best practices, whatever it is. So I think people just have to get more resourceful of how they're, doing favors for somebody. Hey, can I take you to lunch? I'll pay for the lunch.
Yeah.
At the restaurant of your choice, get a big steak.
Hey, listen, don't take him to lunch.
Right?
We right next to Sip.
A
steak next door might be your rent.
And I eat. I might look strong, but I'm the fat boy inside.
He said a beer was 40.
That's a fact. You're right. Right.
Got my ass.
Sprite with a lime, $37.90. Right. No.
Right.
Like I said, the reason that we do this is because I'm personally tired of seeing our people struggle.
Sure.
And I'm being real with you. Like, the job in Queens, the Resorts World, they're actually about to do phase 2. I was the general foreman and built phase 1. I slept on that job. We was doing 100 hours a week. Like, the money that was my budget for payroll was $1 million a week. That's how many people we had working on that job. And I walked away from that because of a situation where one of the owners was like disrespecting the man, wasn't paying the workers. And I'm like, yo, you're not doing that. And their answer was like, but your money right. And I'm like, but my soul ain't right. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it's not just about me. I don't do what I do
Right.
for me. We do what we do because we got to be good as a people. So that's why we do this, because we need people to see people like you and be like, yo, this dude is successful.
Right.
And we need that trust factor.
Right,
So
right.
when you go on Sell It, they can say, I could trust Jason, right?
Sure.
And let them know, listen, you're not getting rich quick. Like, I think we need to start all selling
Right.
courses like that.
And then
You're not
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
rich
yeah.
right now.
It may not
Nah.
work for everybody.
Right. And it may not work, but if you follow this,
That's
the
how you
average
apply it.
success rate looks like this. And this is what the capital you could look to bring in looks like this. Now make your decision. Just be more
Well,
upfront.
that's a reverse
course.
engineer. This is the mindset you need to have. This
Or
is not-
that too.
don't buy
You
it.
understand what
If
I'm
you don't
saying?
have this mindset, don't touch it
Right. You understand?
Sure.
Because like
And
I
but
said,
a lot of people
you know,
think they have the mindset.
until they.
well,
let
that's
me
'cause
tell you, real
starving,
estate-
Jason. You starving. You
Right.
see the shiny toy.
No,
like,
but
yeah.
if I say you got to do these 100 things, you know
Yeah.
how many people would pick up the phone and do 100 calls here?
Oh, easy.
Right.
Easy here.
Right.
No.
Really?
Nope.
Motherfucker, give me a phone.
No, we really don't.
Give me a phone.
First of all, I talk to 100 people a day, just friends and family.
You're
Look,
hot.
look, I might
Nah,
look at me. Look at me. Look, check our call log. I might talk to him 100 times
That's
a
a
day.
fact. That's at lunchtime.
Yes, that's a fact. From 7, 8, 9 in the morning, we already shooting out there. Yo, this is the
Move
text
in.
message,
Got this.
everything.
Yo, call
That's a
at 10. Are you
fact.
ready? 5 minutes before
That's
call.
a
You ready? I'm
fact.
ready in the meeting. Like,
That's a
move, bro.
fact.
Right.
I might talk to him 100 times.
No, but
in the day.
that's, I mean, this is why I'm also able to
yeah.
really beat the competition.
Yeah.
It's a lot of those foundational things where when we had our manager walking up and down the aisle, like
Yeah.
really cracking the whip, I mean, you may not be able to book them demos, but
Yeah.
one thing you're going to do is make them calls before you leave this
made
office.
that call.
Gotcha.
You made that
You
call.
know,
Man, shout out to you,
And
man. That shit
then I
made
had
it.
to manage other people doing that. I mean,
Right.
that was easily one of the highest stress jobs I've had.
Doing it
But-
yourself and then managing others, making sure they doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
and
numbers.
guess what?
Yeah.
I'm accountable if you don't do the numbers. So he may be like, you may have to let XYZ go.
Oof.
Facts.
And I say,
Right.
I ain't gonna let. Come on, man. They
That's
were
yeah.
great last week.
Right.
Yeah, like, and that was, yeah.
Come
It was
on,
a
man.
lot
You
of
can't do that to so and so and so. They've been here for. He's got kids. She's got this.
Yeah.
Get them out. Put them on note. It was the business, right? And like,
I was, bro.
I mean, and ultimately, I mean, I got let go of that job because I didn't fire people.
See?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't
he
know
sat me and he gave me that steak dinner.
Yeah.
For real.
That's
Yeah.
And we had a
crazy.
big glass of wine, and I
Yeah.
knew it was coming. We were
Yeah.
just talking about life,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even because of how many new deals I signed. It was about how many deals were people were pulling out. My
Mm.
live rate is what hurt me,
Oh, yeah.
and,
yeah,
and also the
Mm.
vertical and few things.
yeah, yeah.
But ultimately, it was still about if I didn't make decisions as a manager to protect the business, then I'm not really a great. You know what I mean? Like I'm not really
Right, yeah,
managing the
right.
business,
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
right? Let's talk about what the fundamental description of the job is.
Right.
Yeah, there are people that I would have let go, not to say names, right? But that
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
broke my heart, right? And a lot of people I had to let go that broke my heart. You know, it was like, this is it, you know,
we was bugging out.
we were bugging out.
Well, I'm just saying.
And I mean,
that's the
I'm talking
human
about just to
factor.
give you people a
That's the
picture.
human factor.
You have 20 people getting walked out week after week after week. So now imagine starting Monday and be like, how's your weekend? You'd be like, it's good, but I ain't, and you're really sitting on eggshells.
Right. Like I might be one of the 20 this week.
forever.
Fact.
This never left. That tension never left.
Yeah.
3 years, bro. Never
Right. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, everybody's making from that crew, everybody's at least clocking 200 bands up.
Oh, I'm going
Easy.
crazy then.
I
Where
know.
I sign
Yeah.
up?
Oh no, I'm talking. You talking about from what we were doing then
Yeah.
to now. Everybody right now is doing major shit.
Oh,
Everybody from that
Got
job
you,
is doing
got you,
major
got
shit, right?
Right. And I'm really, you know,
so
and
it was the trial by fire. It forged you.
Yeah,
If you was
it
able to
forged you.
survive
You
that,
survived that.
Got
boot
exactly.
camp.
got
Which, by the way, the
Got
top
you.
jobs, because and this is why I say sometimes degrees and all these things, and that's because you have to understand how the world works.
right?
Right. Like people sometimes they just want the shortcut, right? Mentality. And it's like you can accelerate your growth, but you still want to understand the fundamentals. So if you're jumping into certain circles and you get people's attention, you're not wasting it, right? On
yeah.
fake value and like just hard work, because still people want to know that trust factor is there. If I give you this $10 million listing, are you really going to deliver for me and work on this deal when I'm sleeping, when I'm away? I'm going to be in Florida for the next year.
Right.
Can I depend on this thing getting sold and offers coming in?
Right.
Feel me?
Right.
And that's what it requires. I never break my client's trust. I don't care about no money,
That's a fact.
right?
That's key.
I don't care about any money. It's literally always about trust. And there's some people, you break their trust, you will never get back in.
That's a
Right.
fact.
Yeah.
So I'll make zero in a deal. I'll work pro bono if I have to. But trust to me is better than gold.
It's everything.
You know, it's everything.
It's everything, bro. Especially when we was coming from, bro. Like, I ain't gonna front, that shit shaped me so fucking much, bro. Like, first of all, I did something. I don't know if I said this story, but I did one thing. And I'll tell you how it ended, bro. I don't know if I ever told you this shit. So I found it. I was in Homenberg Garden Vertical. I did home theaters. That's the only shit I knew. I went on Yelp, bro. I must have closed 75% of fucking Yelp just from cold calling. Be like, y'all could put you on HGTV. Right. Boom, boom, put you on the website. You get leads. $500 campaigns. I must have been selling like 5 to 10 of them shits a week. Right. And then to the point when Santilli and Santo put me aside, you too. Oh, it was like, yo, nah, you know, you could just do it like this and get one call for like 100. Yeah. You know, you don't have to do it, bro. Yeah. You know, you could just get one deal of, whoo, I'm going to lunch. Right.
Yeah, he said I'm doing volume, and they like, yeah, that's good
type shit, bro.
Hey, this is Jordan from Vertical Shirts. We're calling on behalf of our partners. Some of them you may know: AMC TV, Bravo Tech TV, Food Network, Martha Stewart, Cooking Channel, Rachel Ray,
and that's where the voice came from. And you got to make that, bro. I met Solomon through that shit. I met Solomon through a cold call, and we just became so cool on the cold call that we kept the relationship. Gotcha. And then, but by the time I ended, bro, I was one of maybe like last 10 people, bro. We was doing $250,000 a quarter, and there was a new CEO. They had 3 CEOs in the span of 9 months, bro. By the 3rd CEO, I was tired. I was like, first of all, you motherfuckers coming in here, you're not even saying good morning to me. I'm not even saying good morning. And I'm putting up 250. I'm putting up 250. I mean, my desk is right by the fucking entrance. It's like the receptionist. So you gotta pass me. Can't even say good morning. I'm saying, all right, cool, no problem. Got the con job. Was out of it. Your bro, the CEO at the time, I'm not gonna say his name, called my mama house while we recorded. Am I bugging Hayes? Called while we were recording music. Said, yo, I need to get in touch with Jarrett. I'm sitting recording a track at Phep's crib. Mom's calling me like, you gotta call your boss. Gotta tell you, no. I was like, who? I was like, my manager? No, the big boss. The motherfucking CEO. And he literally, I kid you not, bro. We had a conversation. I called him the next morning, bro. I'm like, yeah, I just can't do it. I already accepted the offer. You know, I really wish it would have went somewhere. If they send you to France, I'll send you to France right now. You want to do this? What pay they gave you? I'll give you the pay right now. I just need you to stay here. He said, yo, he hit me with some real talk, bro. He said, yo, I could put you in closed doors meetings, like skull and bone type meetings. I graduated from Harvard. Like, I'm on that type of time. What do you want to do in your life? Right. And I just left, bro. I could have sounded good, but you know what I thought? I said, if I stay there, bro, they're gonna work me to the motherfucking bone. Right. They was gonna go crazy with me. You didn't say good morning.
Yeah, but I think it goes back to, were you happy?
That's it.
What is peace of mind worth? I'm just being honest with you, right?
Just trust.
What is peace of mind worth, right? We'll work hard. We'll work hard. We're not, as a people, we're hard workers. I know that stigmatism we lazy, that's bullshit.
No, it is.
That's bullshit. Let's not even play that game. Was brought here to work. So that, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even say some shit like that. We was brought here to work. What are you even talking about?
And I don't mean even my people like that. What I'm saying is people got to work smart, right?
Right.
People, they'll show up to work, but then you got the guy who's really working and the people who are just in the room acting like they're working. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Message. Even on our people, it's like, I'm talking about everybody in general, like across the board. We as a people, you know, we work. I mean, a lot of people will kind of take it away from us and say, you know, people of color don't really. We showed every time we got built up, they wanted to, you know, every time we had something, we were shifted. If you see what I'm saying,
right? Yeah.
But like, the key to working and becoming a millionaire is also working smart.
Yeah.
What is the highest, best use of your time, right? And also, how do you cut out a lot of the leisure? People out here chilling, posted up, talking about everybody else's business. This, that happened. Will Smith smacked so-and-so. And Cardi B. I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, every time that I'm thinking about and watching somebody else live their dream, I'm taking away from my dreams. I'll tell you, Owning Manhattan's the first show I watched in a minute.
Right.
I can imagine.
First time watching literally the first time. I mean, my kids will have it on. When I get home, I'm in my tapes. I'm in my podcast. I'm meditating. Yeah. I'm burning incense. I'm working out. You know what I mean? I'm cooking. I'm trying to eat healthy. I'm picking up a book. You know what I mean? Because I know the highest, best use of my time is I need to be making sure that I translate everything I know in my head into money somehow, right? Yeah. So I have many projects. This is just a hustle. I'm not a real estate broker. I'm Jordan March. who does real estate.
Message.
You warmed up, yeah.
I told you I was gonna get him to put a little sting on him before the show is over. I tell you, sometimes you gotta pop out show niggas.
Right, but you used to be,
Yeah.
you same thing, right? You
Yeah,
were a rapper too. You
Yeah.
the music, you did all types of stuff.
Gone, bro.
People don't even realize I'll drop a beat, I'll kick a whole 32 right now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
and I stay on my P's and Q's even in that way. I write every Monday, no matter what.
Really?
Ever.
You still your pen game still
Music-
crazy?
My pen game's stupid.
Yeah. Coming down the pipeline. That would be crazy. More than the
man.
title.
Yo,
On the
but
Manhattan
that's why we
track, yeah.
created the name, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
exactly why we created the name. You wouldn't know that I
Yeah.
could write a 32. You wouldn't know that
That's
I do
it.
my own marketing. You don't know how to do my own social media. You don't know that I actually created my own brand and built the inbound engine that created fucking $2 million of revenue for the company. You would not know that, right? But guess what? I'm showing up like this. And that's why we
Right.
got to tell these stories, bro. It's mad important. And you know, I want to ask you too, bro, what's the best advice that Ryan gave you? What's the illest game that he gave you? I just got that question on Instagram. What's the
Damn.
illest game he put you aside? Like,
I
enjoy
mean,
the
Ryan
deal.
has so many jewels, man. Like,
Wait, hold on. You're not going to give you one for that.
yo,
I wanted to let him finish first. I wanted to let him finish first, but I'm gonna keep it 100.
it's
YouTube is gonna
sometimes
go
not even
crazy.
what he
for
tells
that.
you, it's
Yeah.
what he shows you. Firstly,
One, two. Oh my God.
yeah. I will talk to owner 8 a.m. on Saturday.
Hey yo. Hey yo. Hey yo.
Time out, Jordan. It was the he has so many jewels that it's not what he tells you, it's what he shows you. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, we got
YouTube loves it when we
Yeah.
go crazy over those.
Read the book, right? You know? Otherwise, you
Yeah.
just watch how he
Yeah.
does it.
Yeah,
You know, it's just, I think it's just watching him being knowing that he's the best.
Yeah.
Become the best. Whoever's listening, know you're the best at what you do. Move with that type of swag. I'm the best at what I do. And then prove it to yourself every day.
Yeah.
You can't just say it. You got to prove it to yourself. Now, how will I prove it to myself?
Yeah.
I'm the best rapper. What would the best rapper do in your mind? He'll drop 3 albums in 1 year and
right,
get 2 number ones or get a feature. Just look it
right,
up.
right,
Okay? Go do that and prove that to yourself.
right.
Don't worry about what nobody does, because at the end of the day, he's competing with himself at this point.
Right.
He has no competition. On the media side, there's been stars, but nobody works as hard as this guy. And I admire all those brokers. I mean, they do deserve a lot of respect, because it isn't easy, and it's
Right.
not just a gimmick doing the media stuff and people think, people are doing kicks. I mean, these guys are smart,
Right.
but like, I think it's just that it's gonna take hard work. He's up at 4:30 every day. That's the jewel. I'm up at 4:30. What are you doing? You're sleeping about and think and dream about who and what, right? I'm up. I'm at the gym at 5, right? And he has it, right?
Yeah.
He's got the multi-millions where he doesn't have to wake up ever again, and neither does his kids and his grandkids.
Yeah.
But he's here showing up every day before you do. What's your excuse?
None.
That's really the
Yeah,
play.
that's the fact.
Cutting the content, cutting the
Yeah.
media, take care of the work, and the work to take care of you. He said to me, he says, go in any neighborhood and ask them about, take any 20 people and ask them who their top 5 brokers are. He says, market to those next people for the next 6 months, even if they don't buy anything, and ask them those same 20 people who the top 5 brokers are. I guarantee your name will end up in the top 5 just because of how much you're hitting them with marketing.
Yeah.
So don't overlook the power of branding and marketing.
Yeah.
And just, he says less. You don't got to type all these long emails. Ryan will just give it to you simple, and he stands on his deal. He really believes in what he sells, right? So it's,
Right.
If you just, selling is conviction transmitted over to the prospect, right? Plus, of course, the right questions and the right sort of, things applied in that dynamic, but that's sales. So I think for him, I just sit back and I look at it, I go, well, what could I change today to become more SERHANT? Like, I know it sounds gimmicky, but like that 4:30, I get up at 4:30 every day now for years. You don't have to even set no alarm for me. I'm up, right?
Crazy.
He texted me 4 a.m. He texted me at 2 last night. I was up just because I heard it. You know what I mean? But I mean, I could have been sleeping, but like, I just was up. I was working,
Yeah.
right? Like, and for me, it's work is life. So I think you know, he's somebody who's always following up with clients. I could talk to somebody Saturday morning. We just talked to Ryan. I go, he called you on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. Yup. And he's always following up with everybody, always, literally. Never stops calling. Once you gets you, and you've shown him that you're possibly serious and doing anything in the future, you will always hear from him forever.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. The strength of the fight.
I think so often we think about the sales, we're like, okay,
Yeah.
but even in life, I mean, sometimes you're in a job. I wish even half those media people I knew today.
Yeah.
I just took money from your business and I helped you. Why don't we become friends? Sometimes it could just be sitting there and doing Christmas cards. Now everybody gets a Christmas card from me. People get bottles of wine for me. Like, I don't think about everything as a deal anymore because really it doesn't work that way in real estate. You really have to build relationships.
Yeah.
Where I just want everybody to be my friend now. If you're a good person, of course, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's real.
I want to be able to be there for everybody if I can. And it's not just real estate. You may just want to know, okay, where do I eat at? Or can you take me out with you the next time you hit the club?
Yeah.
Right? Or my son wants to be an internship apprentice. Can you find him something?
Yeah.
I've gotten people jobs everywhere in town. Right? So I think it's being resourceful, it's being a super connector, and just being ready. You know, like my mother would say, stay ready, so you have to get ready.
That's a fact. That's what you play, baby.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I just, you know,
this is real.
I'm in awe. I'm gonna be honest with you because we talk about first impressions. So this is my first time meeting you, and you give off such a very relaxed energy. I'm just keeping it real with you. Like, you know, this is our first time meeting and having a conversation, and you seem so relaxed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, to accomplish the things that you have accomplished, it's not that it doesn't seem like you don't take credit for them, but I feel like you're like, okay, that was good, but like, what's next? You know what I mean? I get that what's next energy for you, like that you allow yourself to be successful, but you still like, I still got a journey ahead of me. You know what I mean? So let me not bask in the glory too much because I still need more energy to keep, you know, pushing forward, man.
You know, it's funny because Michael Jackson, who's like a big hero of mine, he said that he never kept no awards in his house.
Really?
Shipped them to his mom's house. I don't see no awards in my house.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that story. Really?
Yep.
Never heard that story.
Yeah.
Message.
Thriller, none of that stuff existed for him. And that's why he was 50 years old on stage trying to make the biggest tour that ever sold, right? Like, so I think there's a mentality of, I do think you do have to still celebrate your moments. Because sometimes I look back, I go, I regret that I didn't slow down a little bit more as a younger individual. So I think sometimes when I'm relaxed I give myself time these days.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, even when you come in and said, if it's one, I got to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually had a meeting that rescheduled in that moment. And sometimes you have a crazy calendar. Yeah. But I also want to make sure that I'm balanced, I'm grounded. I think mindfulness is the biggest happiness.
Yeah.
Right. Like, am I taking in what's really happening?
Right.
Or am I trying to be somewhere I'm not, be someone I'm not, go, you know, do something that it's not supposed to happen right now?
Right.
Certain things flow in its own life in its own time too. You got to be patient with life. Because as much as you manifest, a big part of manifesting is detaching. If you really have faith, it's like putting in an Uber Eats order and then calling in 5 minutes, be like, you got the order? Is it coming? Is it coming? people think something's wrong with you. If, you know,
always on fire.
Like, if you really believe what you believe, and this is why it starts with belief. Belief doesn't come in the middle of the game. It comes before you start making the steps. A lot of people making the steps and then they want to believe, okay, I got into real estate. You think I can make it? You shouldn't even ask me if you think I can make it. I was telling people when it was a recession, everybody said, yeah, well, you got to get a job. And my mom tried that and tried that. If you know how many people just told me to get out.
Yeah.
Just get out before you start,
I
bro.
looked at you crazy. You told me real estate.
Right?
Bro, how the fuck you going over
Yeah.
there? It's tough.
You get him a big 6-figure job to go back in real estate. And you, at the end of the day, where like, you know that you can count on it, right? Like when you have expenses. I had a child not too long after that. Actually, when I lost the job, I was pregnant, having my kid, right? So like, you know, I had to really make this thing work, right? And I think it's a lot of audio, right? With these beeps.
No.
Yeah,
So,
we good.
I don't even know what we was saying, but yeah.
No, you saying you was pregnant. You was expecting a child.
And then I still had to go on this business. So yeah, there are risks that you have to take. But I think if you're confident in yourself and your abilities and really how you deliver on yourself, because I had to deliver on my promises now. A lot of it was, I had to figure out how to strategize better, but there's a lot of promises that I looked at and I said, I haven't really fully committed to making sure that those things are delivered. And that's why I feel like most people in every industry are missing out on that little extra work ethic, that little extra on comfort that will set you apart from your competition. That B student from that A student now.
Yeah.
Everybody's a cool way to be. I just saw Will Smith talking about that the other day with Kevin Hart on that. I don't know if you saw the podcast with the B versus A, but I said, you're right for that, because sometimes when you get to the top now, there's a lot of people in the middle. And there's a few people now at the top that just went, when you played sports in school, that person that just made sure that they were always running in the front when you were doing football or whatever it was. You go, I'm jogging too. I'm doing the 3 miles like you. Why I got to be in the front? You're right. But like their mentality is I got to be in the front. So I try to take that with me where I go. And that's just working faster than everybody else. That's making sure I put an extra hour work in. That's making sure I spend that extra $1. People are like, oh, I'm not going to spend that money on da-da-da-da. I'm the first one, like, I'll mess up, end up getting scammed sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, or like whatever on these. Okay, the education program wasn't great, but my mentality was I got to open these doors up if I really want to see myself progress. So when Tony Robbins came, when Tom Ferry came, when any little thing came to my office, I'm telling you, I put it on a card. I went negative. People don't even know what I did. It's going to be $700 to go to the one-day seminar, and I'd be sitting there like, do you want to do it? I'm like, I'm gonna do it, and I don't even know how I'm making home. Send me $20 in Westy. You know what I mean? Just to but people don't realize that sacrifice. That was mentality shift. And I still do it. Literally, sometimes I overspend it. I go, you didn't need to drop 30 bands on that right now. You could have done X, Y, Z. But guess what? Now I'm in a place where I'm raising over $100 million for another project.
Right.
Separate from real estate. Right. I got into business with, executives of all other verticals, and I'm doing other projects. We're doing this. I'm cutting other movies, right? Like, this is now just a hustle, right? Which is and it's a hustle that
a damn good one.
It's a damn good one. But I didn't even tell you, music wise, I got Wayne on the track. I got Ross on the track right now. I got
crazy
Trippie on the track.
Right.
Crazy.
And that's not even out. That's not even talked about right now. You see what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at it, bro.
So I took time to study music business. How do you get paid? How are royalties? How are shows, paid out? Who gets your manager, your attorney, your agent? How does everybody get paid?
Yeah.
I'm not just running in and I wouldn't just give my service. I didn't know how I was getting paid. In real estate, why would I do it in music? Or whatever industry, private equity, raising capital for projects, helping frame deals, helping syndicate deals, development deals. I got into the yachting business, right? I have a private yachting membership club coming out, right?
Crazy.
Sites all over the country.
Do you think the organization plays a part in the mentality of how much you actually contribute? And I'm gonna give you a reason why I asked that question, because I'm a Marine, right?
Okay.
So in the military, we have to do what's called the PFT.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. We have to do what's called the PFT, physical fitness test, right? For me to max out, for anybody to max out what's called the perfect score, you need what's called the 285 and better. So it's 3 events. It's a 3-mile run. It's pull-ups from a dead hang. It's 20 full, none of that swinging shit. Each one is 5 points, 100, and it's 100 sit-ups in like 2 minutes or something, 200. I'm not a runner. I've never been a runner. So I would always find somebody who was a good pacing. You understand what I'm saying? But I think about it, I never wanted to do 20 years. When I went, so I'm thinking about what you're saying now. Like in the moment, I didn't understand it, but now that you're saying it, I think about it like hindsight, right? Like when I went into the military, I was like, I'm not doing 20.
Right.
Like I'm only doing this to get away from the hood, to break you understand? To break my programming, to grow up, to see the world, and then come back ready to go. So I never went in planning on making this a career. So I still maxed out. I'm like, if I get a 300 and I get a 285, I get the same points.
Sure.
Why should I run extra fast? I'm saying, as long as I do these 3 miles and under this 18 minutes, I get my 85 points, 285. I max out. I'm good.
Right.
But now that I'm thinking about it too, like when I went to college for my engineering degree, so I graduated with my business degree cum laude. So I was like that, all A's, all A's, all A's. And I tell the story like I was the valedictorian of every school I got kicked out of. So you know what I mean? I tell that
Yeah.
story all the time. And people laugh like it's ignorant and shit to say that, but it's like that's what it was. But on my engineering degree, I was like, why am I pushing so hard? When if I get an A or I get a B or I get a C,
Sure.
it says the same exact thing on my degree.
Yeah.
My GPA doesn't matter. Now,
Right.
when I take this degree to the job, it's do you got the degree or you don't got the degree?
Right.
You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
right.
Like,
Yeah, that's right.
like me getting the A and busting my ass and doing all the extra, it's not gonna
He's not gonna do
equate.
I think
So
it's
me
more
getting-
so. So
it. Process.
I'm kind of like you in certain ways with
Yeah.
that, but I feel like there became a mentality shift where I understood the way I do one thing is the way I do everything.
There it
Yeah.
is, and,
Right?
and that's what
Because
it gotta
even
be.
if I'm late
That's
for
what it
my
gotta
kids'
be.
school, like
That's what
I
it
could be
gotta
late
be.
for something that nobody's even looking for me.
That's what it gotta be.
Because that's only time I can also pull from that resource of excellence. Because then I can always do this. Well,
Right.
let's do that one tomorrow. Let's, this doesn't matter. And then you sell yourself, right? And it
Yeah.
makes good sense, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying it doesn't, right? Like
Yeah.
nobody's really checking for the GPA. They want to know, do you have the degree? What's the deal? Like whatever it
I
is,
feel like it's not
a lot of time.
appreciated.
or whatever the
You
case
know
may
what I
be,
mean?
right?
Like they don't care. Like if
But-
I come in with the 4.0, you're not gonna give me any more money.
No,
You're
that's
not
a
gonna
fact. I
treat
make
me
the
different.
same-
You're
I
still
make
gonna
the
treat
same.
me like shit.
Right.
You're still gonna make me do what I do. So
Right.
why am I? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like
Right.
in those
Yeah.
sense. That's why I said, does the organization, like you said, this is a great place to learn. This is a great place to grow. That's super important. Why a lot of us have left our jobs is because it's toxic environments.
That's a fact.
Because because I'm not happy being here.
Right.
What is the money worth if every day I get up, I'm not getting up at 4:30.
But
I'm not trying to be
yeah.
on time. I'm walking out the door at the last possible
Getting in
minute.
9:01.
If I got to clock in at 9, I'm walking in at 8:59 and 40.
Sure.
That's facts.
There's
bro.
always this, but then
You
even
know
the
what
quote,
I
you
mean?
show up on time, you're late,
That's
right?
a
Yeah,
fact.
And let me tell you,
yeah.
when we work together, I would be on. Let me tell you, we both look at the clock. I say it's 9. He goes, "You're late,"
Yeah.
and would give me hell like I'm actually late. I go,
Yeah.
"I hate this move,"
Yeah.
but I appreciate him later in my life.
No,
I'll be honest with
same,
you,
same.
because it was the bottom line delivered. I think excellence is the practice in all things. Like, nobody's gonna scream at you if you don't tidy your room no more.
Right.
Right. Like nobody's gonna look at the small nuances of like how you say stay organized and like that being a part of the game. Like
Right.
this is also the difference of the guys who making, 250, eating good, driving something nice, got something nice in their whatever the case is, and the guys who are making $1 million and the guys who are making 50 million.
Right.
Right. Because I got 20 million right now. Why do I got to get to 50? Right. But I think if you challenge yourself, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it based on this. I'm just using this as like an inflection
No,
point
absolutely.
of like how people,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
how I had to see life at some point, because I want to be in that place of, again, mindfulness and a few other things where I just want to have excellence in all things. So my family life is just as important as how much money I'm making.
Yeah.
It's just as important as my health.
Right.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
and that's mental health, that's spiritual health, that's relationship health, right? Like all those things come into play. And wealth is really the culmination of all things at the same time. It's not having money but no health. It's not having health but no money. It's not having, you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you feel,
Yeah.
okay, that's wealthy.
Yeah.
He's not 60, but he looks good. I just found out Grant Cardone's in his 70s.
Facts.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He just looked good. He just,
What did he
yeah,
say? He said 66,
Something like that.
He said he's
definitely
60.
Oh, yeah,
He's
oh,
above,
yeah.
bro.
right? Doing 25 pull-ups that somebody at 16, 26, 36
Yeah.
not even doing.
That's a fact.
Right. So like I think it's always about what people doing when nobody's watching. And it's sometimes I'm in competition with myself now. This is where the competition with yourself is. Like I'm content with everything that can happen, but good is the enemy of great. So what would I love to really happen? And that's where I think you see the Michael Jordans and the Kobe Bryants and those people come, because they go, I'm in the NBA. I'm going to get this check. The check's already cut. I already know I could put up 25, 30. But why did Jordan come in 2 hours early? Why was he the only one that was there early? You see what I'm saying? So I think whatever it is in your life, there's sometimes that little shift that needs to just have that little extra elbow grease. You know what I mean? Where even I said Michael Jackson, where again, they'd be up at 3, 4 a.m. starting practice. I already know the routine. I know the dance, but he didn't stop rehearsing Billie Jean. I've been doing it for my whole life. I can moonwalk in my sleep. You know what I mean? But like, it still comes with the regimen and that part where I feel like when you do anything for that amount of time, you're going to get to a space where you can almost really get into a space of second nature where you're almost separated from your body, and you know at that point when you could jump on the phone and call anybody.
Yeah.
Look how you say, "Give me the phone right now."
Yeah.
But that had to be
Took
really
time.
that had to really take time and almost get kind of beaten into you a certain way, right? You had to crack his whip and give, because if the fear wasn't there, you probably stay at the 50 calls an hour.
And that's exactly what
Right?
I seen that happen. I seen that happen a lot with people in music, because I used to do music as well, and you could see the transition of when they got to that moment where the pen became second nature. You almost like elevated to a whole nother level
Right.
of writing.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I tell that story about Fred the Godson all the time when people be asking me.
I got a track with him too.
Yeah, Fred is my guy. Fred is my guy. Yeah,
Rest in
yeah,
peace.
that's-
Rest in
yeah,
peace,
I
Freddie
introduced
God.
him. Yeah, that's my
I
guy.
got something dropping with him coming up.
My uncle
Yeah,
used to
right.
manage them and all that. But so
Okay.
the story with Fred is, I used to tell people, Fred used to be in a group called TBM with a guy named Virginia Slim. Virginia Slim was actually the nicer rapper. He the one that got Fred to start writing. We was in a studio in Jersey one time and they was spitting the raps to me because that's when I started engineering for them. And Virginia Slim spit his rhyme and Fred spit his rhyme, and Virginia was like, "Yo, what you think?" I said, "He got you." He said, "What?" I said, "He got you." He's like, "Nah, you didn't hear." I said, "No, you're not listening." Like, in this moment,
No, he was nasty. With
but this is before he got to where you know him at now.
Yeah.
I've seen that transition. So it was in that moment where I seen that transition where I'm like, "Oh, you in trouble." Like, like now you're in trouble because now he's gotten to that second nature point where now his brain is unlocked, and now it's like, now I can't even turn this shit off now. You know what I mean? So I understand exactly what you're saying. And you know what?
He's competing with himself, and he's competing for something else to be the best, bro.
But he made a point, and like he said, if we're gonna follow some, I don't have no problem being a follower. Be clear. I think some of the most phenomenal leaders are exceptional followers.
Sure.
But you got to give me something positive or something valuable for me to follow. I'm just not following any old fucking person.
Right.
But what you said made sense to me because it's a pattern.
Sure.
The greats kind of all follow a pattern.
Absolutely.
Like Steve Harvey gets up at 4 in the fucking. This is Steve Harvey. He ain't never got it. Like you said, his grandkids ain't never got to work. And he does 4 shows, Family Feud, Steve Harvey show. He's up at 4. Same thing.
Right.
And you say like him, and you know we talk about work ethics, Michael Jordan, Kevin Hart, and people that you just keep always hearing the same thing. Their work ethic. And I think that I have a phenomenal work ethic is the reason I've achieved a lot of things. But by you saying it in the context that you said it, it's like, you know, be aware that you're doing it when nobody's looking.
Right.
And the repetitive process, even when you know it, still makes you better at it.
Yeah, you gotta stay up on the game.
Yeah, that's fine.
Got to, bro.
Even when you know it and you feel it's second nature, still do it.
Same like this. What we doing right now with podcasting.
Yeah.
We look at every pod. I look at everything. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know what sound effects. I want to know what setup you got. I want to know what concepts you're talking about, how you're distributing the content, how are you, what sponsors you got, why, how long it take to get that deal, all that shit, man. But his message, like you said too, his message in the movements. You probably didn't even have to ask Ryan all the shit. You saw it and said, I'm implementing immediately because you're putting in the work.
He don't even gotta, he knows that too. He look at me and say, I ain't gotta talk to him.
You know, and take the shoot, motherfucker. To do that. To understand that, bro.
Yeah.
So like that was have a lot of gems, man. Like,
I truly enjoyed.
I mean, I to. I could go to 4, so I got 10 more.
Okay. I just want to say though, like I said, I've been truly enjoying this conversation. Like I said, the energy that you give off, and we're based on first impressions because you're talking about the second impression. If the first impression is bad, you might not get a chance for the second impression. So I guess that's why a lot of people put so much emphasis on the first impression. And like I said, just meeting you and just hearing you speak and your energy, I can see it and I can understand it. And if your work ethic, matches it, then I can see why you've garnered your success because you found what you were good at.
Right.
And you found out how you were able to be good at what you were good at because everybody has a different process. Sure. The way I might do something might be completely different than the way you do it. Doesn't mean it's less effective.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean it's less efficient in us getting it done. So I feel like you found your niche and you was like, I know how to get this done my way, and you stuck to that. You know what I mean? And I think that, like I said, our guests and our audience needs to hear that because a lot of people, like I said, they're struggling, man. And I believe, and he asked you about, would you ever think about, the courses and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up a school. not an if, or and, a but. I don't care what it costs or what I have to put in, and this is what we're gonna do, because there needs to be a place of trust. We come from a place where the community center, right? The community center in the projects is the place you go to for all things you need, whether it's like food stamp help with the application, after school, anything you needed. That's what the community said. They had all the resources were in one building. But when that building got corrupt and people start not doing the right thing, if that's the source of all the inspiration and the trust in the hood, and you break that, what do we have left? Nothing. Nothing. Yeah. And I feel like it's that community center does not exist the way it needs to exist to help these neighborhoods the way we need help.
Right.
So we need to start really implementing schools and programming that makes sense now. We don't need to keep teaching age-old lessons from 30, 40, 50 years ago. This is not the climate no more.
Right.
This is not socialism, and everything's changed. Why do we keep teaching that same shit? We need something that's adaptive, that can be taught in real time, can be adapted to introduce new things. And you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
And this thing can transform and evolve into what it needs to be. But trust, right? So if you want to start real estate, for example, right? You can come to this school and we'll teach you how to be a broker or be a salesperson or be this or da. Not saying you're going to get here, but we will guarantee you one of these 4 paths or 2 of these things you will accomplish, period. You understand? Things like that, where somebody can just go in and say, at least I know I can get here.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If we can give people that, bro, I promise you, you will see a change like you've never seen. If somebody wants to start a podcast and we're like, come on in, we're going to teach you the differences in equipment, the differences in the software, hardware, how to put it together. When you leave, you're not leaving here until you start a podcast. Like, to graduate this course, you must start your own podcast. I'm talking logo, this, that, or you fail.
And all the self-taught.
You understand what I'm saying? So at least, again, when they leave, they can say, we can say successfully, we've taken you from this point to at least this point. Now, we can't walk this whole thing for you, but what we did do is give you a skill, give you a trade, give you some education, and now give you an opportunity to use all of these things to go do what you feel like you want to do.
Sure.
That's what I'm talking about. And I feel like that's the win-win for us, for the community, because if we don't get better as a culture, us singularly achieving economic growth and wealth is going to fizzle.
Right.
It's going to fizzle because we're going to implode as a culture.
Right. I mean, we need, I would say, like, just as the sake of understanding where we're still at as far as our growth in the country, we still only control 2% of the nation's wealth, as we did in 1867.
Let's talk about it.
We are the consumer culture. We're not really manufacturing and producing our own communities that are thriving on their own.
Right.
We have to know that. If we don't understand at some point how to love each other and get this community economics down, we will never move forward. Just call it a day. Just say, I'm out for myself and I'm not part of that committee. Just agree to be there. But I think the next iteration that I hope to really bring the conversation to the table, and with the power that I have, is not just equality, but equity.
Yes.
Right? How do we create it and how do we ask for it? And where is it deserved to us that hasn't been given to us so far?
Right.
So yeah, we have to learn our worth even. And then we got to say, how do I even put, we may have people trapping in the hood, but he could take 5 bands. He could take 5 bands. Guess what? 100 people take 5 bands. That's 500 bands. 500 bands will get you a $5 million loan somewhere. A $5 million loan, you have a multifamily.
He talked about that.
Right?
Just so you know, he talked about bringing the guys in the hood to do exactly that.
Everybody's at a certain place, but guess what? I'm buying now, and ain't nothing wrong with having my chain and having my whip. There's nothing wrong with that, but we have to put it in the right perspective.
Right.
Because even Hope said, if you can't buy it 4 times or buy it twice, you can't afford it. And I would even say it's more than twice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think ultimately we need to understand first, how does it really work? Because every other nation comes to the country and does extremely well because they understand the community economics, where they said, now we got to make sure we're going to buy this little gas station because that's really going to pay for all of this stuff and our kids. Right. It's not a quick, trying to look good for people who won't even like us in the first place.
Right.
Trying to look for successful people.
You ain't got no
You see what I'm saying?
on
Right.
Like, I'm just saying, if you
Right,
start to
yeah.
unpack it, like, okay,
That's
you
right.
look successful, I see a car, see what's and you see somebody's living a life, you say, you got to switch that up now.
Yeah.
That's not going to sustain itself. You can't be doing, you know what I mean? People who listen and know how I'm talking.
Yeah, they,
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
But
know.
you can't continue to do one thing one
Yeah.
way forever. What's your exit strategy?
Yeah.
Is it saving a certain type of money and say, you know what, I'm gonna put down 6 months of rent and living expenses. I'm gonna start XYZ business, right? If you talk about trust, go for compliance. Start asking the right questions. Don't just jump into things. Have somebody else look at it, right? I'm not saying get everybody's opinion, but have somebody who's experienced look at it and say, these are the concerns I got. Sometimes I may jump into an industry and say, let me get my lawyer on it, or let me get a business associate on it, let me get a mentor in that space on it, or let me just ask somebody a cool question, right? But I think if we're smart about how to start pooling our money together, buying assets, and it could literally be, okay, we're gonna buy this hot dog stand on this corner, and let me go see how many people walk that corner every day and get a sense of what the other guy's doing, and maybe I'm gonna throw bacon on my joint and make it a little bit better than the guy around the corner, differentiate it. Then you start with one. I mean, I bumped into one of these African dudes that I started talking to in the corner. Matt, who he just showed me his cash. He goes, I got 20 of these. I'm just posted up in this corner. I got 20 of these making crazy money right now for me.
Right.
Because he's able to employ them,
Show
you
them
know,
the
on a
process.
minimum
Yeah,
wage
yeah.
or whatever it is and scale his business.
Scale the business.
Yep.
And you may just feel, oh, this, you know what I'm saying, how sometimes they're judged and
Yeah,
that,
of course.
you know, because I got 21 of these. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Making hella bread,
Killing them.
right? Bringing millions a year. And he's sitting there having a good time. You know, this is life. What am I gonna do? Right? He said, what else I'm gonna do? I got my family at home. I'm gonna stay home all day and give my wife hell. So he's making jokes, but like,
Yeah.
you know, he's running his business. So I think it's really important for us to really get the community economics down, understand how do you pull money and start taking that and funding things in a certain way. And people are already doing it. So I'm not saying we're not doing it,
Yeah.
but until we start doing this thing at large
That's scale.
and say we as the people are coming, and it may just be as different as I should trust you and see my brother a little differently. We can't go on with the hate all day. Even if somebody does something a little off, I think there needs to be a basic humanity that's like, I ain't gonna off him. I'm not even on that type of tip no more. He may be the type of person I want around. I'm just gonna walk all the way or like, you know, delete it from my life. I think right now we just, even the other, you know, on the other side, they'll make sure, okay, take him to court, go through the process.
Yeah.
Over here, I'm trying to off you. Why am I trying to off you? And it may aggravate you at that point, but then you have your legal channels and make sure you get your justice, your retribution. Like, until we get that self-love down, and I can look at my sister, I can look at my brother and say, no, I'm gonna big you up. And even if I have a problem, I'm gonna pull you inside and say, let's talk about this. And I ain't gotta throw no threats out there. I ain't gotta act tougher than you in this moment. No ego. I'm just gonna say how I feel. Because if we're really gonna rap, ain't nothing tougher than a bullet. Right? A 5-year-old could pull a gun. So I say this not to go bring that conversation there, but I think as we're talking about, you know, how we as a people pull it together, it's that's what it is, right? Now, what if it's $10,000 and we got 100 people, right? Look at now we got $1 million. $1 million, I can get a $10 million loan.
That's that crowdfunding,
Right?
right? That's so funding, man.
We don't even trust each other enough to do that.
Right.
That's the
And a lot of us are just
If I
trying to
give
get that
somebody
first spot.
10,000,
I'm on your ass.
look, if I give, hold on. First of all, if I give you $10,
Right, but
and you said by
Yeah.
the 15th and it's the 16th, then I ain't got my $10.
but and this is the part of investing now too, because some investors don't get all their money back.
Right, that's a
Some,
fact.
you know,
That's a
so you
fact.
still have to vet the person,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
business, their ability to handle the risks that you're scared of.
Yeah,
These are the risks. Sometimes we want to support, but you still got to say, okay, I still need to understand if this is still not just I'm doing it for a person of color, but if this is going to be a good ROI for me. So I got to look into the investment. I got to still question the person's caliber, their reputation, the ability to handle that situation. Did they put their own skin in the game in that investment? Are they losing as
Right.
much as I do?
right.
Or is it just a great idea?
Yeah.
So like this is stuff that I'm peeping now, and I go, because I am raising $100 million.
Yeah.
And I want more people of color to be a part of that type of fund and understand, okay, great. How do we play in this type of world where now, you know, if I even raise $5 million for this type of fund, I could be making 500 to 750.
Well, what is the process of that though? Because we actually about to have Arlen Hamilton on. She's
Very
actually,
easy.
Yeah, like
Super
what is the
easy.
process?
It's actually easier than people realize. First, you got to understand what kind of deal you want to frame.
okay.
Whether it's a business, whether it's a say it's a multifamily, you want an Airbnb, right? Say if it's $2 million, how do you frame the deal? How many people need to contribute to either the down payment and the expenses? And then what are the payouts to the investors? And how do I report it, right? So obviously you need to set up, joint venture agreements.
Yeah.
If you go a fund route, you have most commonly a what they call Reg D 506B or Reg D 506C. That's to create a fund.
Okay.
Most common use fund. And basically with that, they give you two pieces of two articles of literature, which is a PPM and an LPA, right? Private placement memorandum, limited partnership agreement. And this is going to spell out how every investor gets paid, what the risks are. If you say buy properties, what kind of properties do you buy and not buy, right? Everything gets in that. And that's how, the antitrust laws protect consumers and investors in the country from having these two documents. And I could literally go and start a fund and say, I'm raising X amount of capital for investors to break into Y industry and get this type of returns, right? And there's still risks, of course, you talk about, and everybody knows, okay, if I go into real estate, let's God forbid there's a flood or it burns down, like that's still risk that I know. I may lose my money, but there's associated risk that is transparently disclosed to you, right? And then you got to know, okay, who's my expert investor, right? Yeah. I got into yachting. I don't know about yachting like that. I like to be on a yacht. Yeah, I got into yachting because I have an expert who's in that space. Then you have me who brings the money. You have to have somebody who's the person who's been knowing how to raise capital. Yeah. Maybe you're not the best person to get trust, but we know XYZ person has trust in the community or has their own community that they built. And then you have somebody who's doing compliance, maybe accounting, making sure that all the channels are great outside of your attorney. Yeah. And then you have, other arms. You have a board of directors. If you just want people to kind of see what's going on, look at your balance sheets, you say, okay, I'm gonna put you on my board of directors. We'll toss you whatever it is, and you figure out your agreements there too. But you create your team. But I got to create my team. So I can come to you tomorrow and say, listen, I'm able to pull investors and help people get podcasts off the ground. And I want to fund, say, 20 guys and help them make $100,000 using 20,000. I'm just giving you a random formula, right? Okay. For a guy like you now, you've already shown that you've had proven success of doing it yourself to the point where maybe you could self-replicate. Right. So here's the process of doing. Now I go to the investors. I go, we're going to self-replicate. And we're going to have this guy watch the money and do the accounting to make sure everything's clean. Here's their reputation. They dealt with X, Y. And you still got to find people with reputation. Don't get me wrong. It's not just everybody winging it. Yeah. But this could be now. I mean, they got scooter businesses. You walk into Times Square, they got things where now people just doing the camera kiosk.
The 360.
Right. The 360. Okay. 360 is 1,500. Permits is this much. Boom. We're going to get. Listen, we got a business now. And I ain't even going to sit there, right? Somebody getting out of college could do that. Collect money, right? Now I got a business that I got the kiosk running. I got my daughter working for me or my son working for me, so I don't have to pay anybody, right? They're making commission. And I got money from investors because I didn't even have any money to put it. Maybe I had 300, maybe say if it's 2,500, whatever the machine is. Break down the deal and say, okay, how would I put this deal together? And back into a deal that you're really passionate about. It may be a multifamily in your town. You're like, this thing's been off market. This thing would be such a cash cow. There's probably an investor out there that would love to jump in on it, right? If you do contracting, could you manage a project for an investor who wants to get into development? Could you get into other people in that development space and network? I'm creative, bro. Like I'm telling you, I'm breaking into film. I'll learn that. I'm learning that business. I already have a movie coming out and I was working as a producer. I got in the back door. I didn't even come in as an actor because I took time to learn the business. So like, there's so many facets of when people can slow down and just really unpack their businesses. I think we don't take enough time to really learn our crafts. We want to make it before we understand what it takes to make it. The businessman, whatever it is, whatever industry you're doing hair, do it at the highest level. Understand what types of product, you know what I mean? Like really learn the business and see it from a different, sometimes you have to switch your mentor. You've been doing it one way for so long. Sometimes I got to switch up the energy a little bit. I want to be more like this mentor that I'm seeing that they're modeling to be after, right? This is how I've been able to take 1,000 people, and I've made millionaires in my game now. Probably have a dozen people that can say, I may help you make a mill. Just like Hove, right? They made millions, they've been millions, right? Right? They may sit there today in a different place.
Yeah.
I don't get many thanks.
Nah, that's crazy.
I don't get many thanks
Yeah,
at all.
that's crazy.
If I get one or two people in a year call me, if that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Everything immediate, everything, and it's not even for that. So you got to realize that, like, you know, in closing, I just feel like everybody can do it. You know, we're gonna continue this conversation about
facts,
equity and pulling business,
got
and
it,
really
we
let's
got it.
talk about the mechanics of now marketing, and let's, you know, we can get into nitty gritty. Maybe let's do a part two.
You know, we got to do too.
I think we got to do a part
Wait,
two.
You know,
we
we
got
got to
that
do
shit.
too, because he's doing so much, man. We should, you know, maybe sit down, because it'd be a good thing to, you know, have them maybe think about sponsoring that Black Week.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
You know, we doing Black Week at the Jacob Javits.
Yeah, I'll show up. Yeah.
Yeah, Black Week is a big tech day, so it's only mostly black. So the founder of Airbnb, a bunch of people going to be
Yeah.
there. We're going to be the premier unofficial podcast there.
Yeah.
So we're interviewing everybody. We're putting black brands on our banners and stuff like that. We're going to interview people. If you could come through, some of your team
Yeah,
members.
we'll
like,
send you the
we'd love
information.
that.
It's gonna be 3 days, right? 3 days.
Yeah, from October 16th to the 18th.
Yeah, we'll send you the info. It's gonna be at the Jacob Jab,
Yeah.
man. It's gonna be
fire.
it's gonna be big. It's
It's
gonna
gonna be
first of all,
one
it's
of its kind.
listen, it's at the Jacob Jab. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you know,
sick.
certain things, like we're holding it at the Jacob Jab. So
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, you already know certain venues is just not allowing you to come in and do Mickey Mouse things. You
Right.
understand? And it's for 3 days. So
Right.
you're right. You
Yeah,
understand?
we
So
do
it's
that.
definitely
It's
something
gonna be
that will.
we got the owners. We had them all
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah.
That's family.
That's I mean,
Yeah.
that's incredible, guys. You know what I mean? Just saying, like, I'm proud of you guys and
Appreciate
taking
that,
it to all
bro.
these platforms. That's big. But again, that took initiative.
We practice what
You know,
we practice
agreed.
what you're saying. We get up every day, and we don't have a set work schedule. Let's be clear. Like, there's
No.
we've been on vacation, like, for his birthday, out the state, and he's still working, or we're still working, and we're still getting calls, and they're calling us at 2 a.m, and we're still working. So we work like that. You understand? We don't have a set work day.
right.
If there's things we need to get done in the day, we'll get up at a certain time and get right to it. And
Right.
we might take a break to eat or take care of the kids and right back to it. And we don't stop until we get done what we need to get done.
Right.
But we also continue our education. You understand? We podcast, so we go to other people's podcast summits, festivals, like Invest Fest, Earn Your Leisure, the David Shan. We go to all of these other places to learn from other people doing podcasting, and we pay for it, and we take their courses also to continue our education
Right.
Yeah.
in this field to get better at it, even though we do this every day. So a lot of the things that you were saying resonated with us
That's a fact.
because we do this for real, and we fly out from state to state, and you know,
And-
and we do
And
it.
we
It's
got to get in
amazing.
the game like
Yeah,
a motherfucker.
yeah,
It's
it's a
all
fact.
us, bro.
Yeah, it's
all
a
us.
fact. So,
Everything we do, everything.
you know-
Editing, everything is right here.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great work, guys. I'm
Yeah,
really
so,
proud of
you know,
guys.
Real, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
this has been another
Alright.
banger.
This went in 5 minutes. It's easy to talk with you guys.
Yeah, but that's what we like.
Hour 47.
Yeah,
bro.
that's what we
No.
like to do,
That's
man. We like to
crazy.
make it comfortable because we don't do clickbait. Let's be clear. Like, we want to celebrate you, and we feel like
Appreciate that.
you
Facts,
are the
facts.
star, and we want to bring your success to the people so that we can help replicate it in any shape, form, or fashion, because we need more success and less fucking criminality and all the shit that we're going through now in the hood. You understand? We don't care about who you dating, who you done slept with. We don't care
Right.
about none of that. We
Right.
care about the things that you came on here and talked about, elevating yourself, developing a great work ethic, right? Your mentality, your mindset, right? This is what people
Right.
need to hear, because if we don't see it, if we don't hear it, our people don't believe it.
Right.
You dig me?
Facts, bro.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I wanna, you know, extend a personal thank you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for coming
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
show,
yeah.
man.
I
This
heard
was
you,
super
this
dope.
my
You know
guy.
what I mean? Like,
My God,
this,
you know
this
this
is
good,
super
bro.
dope.
Yeah.
You know, look for part 2, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. This is just, you know, this is my first time meeting this gentleman, but it won't be our last conversation. Obviously, you heard us already trying to put some things in the works. We're gonna continue to collab because that's what you should do when you meet somebody of a like mind, right? When you meet somebody that you might admire or you might want to be like, then you should develop that relationship, right?
That's a fact.
And you cultivate it, like he said. You stay in touch. You shoot ideas back and forth, right? You don't
Yeah.
have to ask for anything,
Right.
but show your interest that you want to build and you want to learn, right? So we want to learn and we want to build. We're gonna continue to build with
Yeah.
this.
Let
brother.
them know where they can
You
find
know what I'm
too,
saying?
bro.
Yeah, let them know where they can find you, Jordan.
On Instagram at It's Jordan March. Email me, Jordan@SERHANT.com. Watch the show. Find me up there.
Make sure
You know
y'all
what I
watch
mean?
the show.
Make sure y'all watch
And,
the show, man.
Yeah, you Google me. I ain't hard to find.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
should,
you know what I
man.
mean?
And also, bro, if you see anybody that we're interviewing,
yeah.
or you know somebody that's good for the show, bro. Anybody, we got 100. This is episode
I got
138.
you. Yeah.
138. Anybody that we've talked to, you have access.
So what he's telling
Okay,
you is
good
you're
to
now
know.
part of the More Than the Title family.
I
That's what
appreciate
we
that.
do, bro.
So-
We don't
so-
gatekeep. or none
So
of
now
that shit.
you might be episode 138, but there's 130 something other guests. Any guest that you've ever seen on the show that you want to get in contact with, all it takes is a text, right? You know,
Yeah.
the text come directly to us. We don't do assistance. We don't do all that red tape shit. And we will put that together within
That's a
24 to 48 hours because all of our guests already know that's what we're building. We're building a community
Yeah.
within the community. So all of
Okay.
our guests know that, right?
Appreciate that. Love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody, don't
So,
matter.
and if we think of anybody that we think that, yo, you would be good to meet, we'll
We'll connect
connect
the dots
you
for
and say, hey, man,
Without
Okay.
you asking.
you know what I mean?
That's
We're
love.
not gatekeeping out here.
I appreciate that, and vice versa.
Man. So what we got coming up? What we
Yeah.
got coming up next week, Cuzzo?
Shit, next week we got we got Gene, Groove, Allen. So first of all, y'all remember House Party? What's Love got to do with it? Groove was the one who kept on bunting the DJ.
He kept bumping the table. He kept bumping the table.
Groove, is still up?
Yeah. We about to close out. Yeah,
my bad.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
And then Groove, who else we got? We got Ramon Ray, who's also a big speaker. He's in
Yeah.
a lot of different spaces. He's
Yeah.
interviewed all 5 Shark Tanks. He's been on stage with Gary Vee, a bunch of people. He's going to tell us how to make money and being a motivational keynote speaker. And the week after that, we got DJ Shakim calling through from the LA residency with Bell Biv DeVoe.
Bell Biv DeVoe
Wow.
just
So
bodied
he's
it.
coming
Yeah.
through. DJ Shakim's coming through.
I just
So
want to
tell
tell
us a bit of
Groove,
that.
don't bump the table. Groove, stop bumping the DJ table. Man. You already know, man. We love y'all, man.
We out of here,
Peace,
y'all.
man.
Man, let's get it. Hold on,
Oh,
let's
wait,
get it.
wait, wait.
I didn't end it.
Yeah, okay, listen, ladies and gentlemen, remember, like I said, we start the show grateful and thankful, and we're going to end the show like this all the time, right? Protect your energy, right? Having self-esteem it starts right here, right? Self-esteem is esteeming oneself, right? Start believing in yourself, right? Start believing in yourself and start loving yourself more, right? Stop lowering your energy to meet other people's energy. Make people elevate to meet you, right? Message. Creating ourselves for other people, right? Love yourself, do better, be better, man. We're doing it as a coach, and now we out of here. More than
You know about me, seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I done it all, just one.